welcome to the first episode of How Did We Get Here? With your host, Monterio, aka Terrio.
And Katrina, also known as Trina.
Okay, and we're here to give the perspective of marriage and relationships and give advice for others because we've been through it. And that's what we do.
Here to school, let you know what marriage is all about.
Alright, so stay tuned. Okay. We're gonna start off with the name of the show and how we get here. How did we get here?
How did we get here? Can you tell me how?
I have no idea. We've been asking each other that question for a while. It's been 7 years, and we've been through a lot, and we still here through it all. How do you think we got here?
I don't know how we got
here.
That's the question. It's the podcast name. How did we get here?
Hey, all I can say is if you ask yourself that same thing within your relationship or your marriage, and y'all still going, all I can say is it's by the grace of God, by the universe coming together and bringing our energies together. Thank God for that. But I really don't know. I really don't know how. I don't know. And you said attraction, so I guess we could say what attracted you to me.
Oh gosh, really?
What attracted me to you, I guess.
So you tell me.
No, I asked you first. Man.
So, of course, the first thing everyone sees is looks.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be physically attracted to someone. If not, you can be attracted to their personality. I think it was all the above for me: personality, looks, spirituality, and just how you talk. What about you?
What attracted you to me?
No.
Or me to you?
Yes.
What attracted me to you? When I first seen you, I was like, damn.
Don't get in trouble.
How am I getting in trouble? You here? But, my first thought was a typical man's thought. That was my first attraction. It was just, damn. I'll never forget the day she had like a black blazer with a yellow top and some blue jeans and some yellow heels. I'll never forget that day. And it was on a Sunday. Hallelujah. Glory be to God. I knew I had to have that. But also, your smile is what attracted me. And you being on your grind, being on your thing, doing your thing as a single mother, I respected that a lot.
So my being responsible, that attracted you?
I guess.
Goal-oriented?
Yeah. But that came after. I'm talking about first attraction.
Physical.
Was
which is what most
physical.
People see.
Was physical, and
Okay.
I knew you was a single mother doing your thing. I tried to wash your car.
But did you wash my car?
You wouldn't give me your address. So, and then...
Right. You have to be cautious of anyone who tries to come around as a single parent. You can't introduce everybody to your child.
I wasn't trying to introduce. I was just trying to wash your car. That's it. That was my goal, to get to the door, to inside the door. Maybe use the bathroom or something.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Get in.
It didn't work.
Yeah, you know what I had to do. What a woman loves to do. You want something to eat, and I had to cook.
That's
fajitas.
Right. That's right.
On the first fajita and Mexican rice. On the first date, and after that, that was a way to a woman's heart. Cause after that, didn't I get you?
Whatever.
Okay. All right. All right. We're gonna hop into love language. So, baby, tell me. Well, can I say your love language?
Okay, so let's explain what love language
Oh,
is.
for those the people that don't know.
So there are 5 love languages, and basically if you Google love languages, there are several tests that come up, and you can kind of determine what your love language is. There are 5 different love language: acts of service, touch, physical touch, quality time, words of affirmation, and what's the last one?
Gifts.
Gifts, right. So we both took the test, and my result was quality time, and then the second highest was gifts. What was your results?
Mine was words of affirmation and touch. Because I want to be touched.
Okay. So what about your love language do you think means?
Well, like I said, touch. I want to be, sometimes just come and hold me, touch on me, don't grab my ass, but, rub on me. Sorry for all the Christian folks that's going to see this. Grab my butt, my hips. But, touch me, rub on my chest, make me feel good, kiss me on my neck.
So basically, hugs and kisses and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then also words of affirmation, reassure me, that the love is still there, acknowledge me for the things that I do. I understand you're gonna point out the things that I do wrong, but acknowledge the things that I do right, So, and yours?
Okay, so my top one was quality time, and that.
Explain that a little bit more.
Okay, so that means to me when you spend quality time with me and you put everybody else aside, you putting me first. That to me shows me that you love me out of everything else that you do. You spend time with me, you do things with me that I like, even though you may not like them. And then the second thing that was the top one for me was gifts. I love to receive gifts, however small or big they may be. It can be just as simple as a letter, a card, flowers. Doesn't have to be extravagant. I'm not materialistic at all. Do you agree?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Sorry for the hesitation.
Okay, so no, I'm not materialistic, but I do like to receive gifts just to reaffirm that throughout the day you've been thinking about me. So those were my top 2. And I think it's important that everyone takes the love language test because we all express love in different ways.
Yep.
And you should always know what your spouse or significant other way is to express love, because a lot of the times you give love the way that you want to receive it.
Yep.
So when we early on in our marriage, I used to buy a lot of gifts because that was one of my love languages. And although I didn't realize that was not his love language, he appreciated it, but that was not what he needed. He needed physical touch, and he needed words of affirmation saying, "Very good, babe. You did a good job. I'm proud of you."
Feel good. Yeah. Like Holly Berry said, feel good.
So yeah. He needed words of affirmation to, someone to make sure that, we're cheering him on, that you're doing a good job.
But I feel like that's for a lot of men. A lot of men need words of affirmation. We need that from our lady, from our woman. Like, we'll get it from our mother or family members, some family members, but especially our lady, like our woman, like we need that from you, and like she said, learning the love language of your spouse can help with that, have her understand that, like, I understand this is what you want, but that's not what I want. And what I need, this is what I need in order for this to work. I give you what you need, and you give me what I need. Not what we want, but what we need.
Right, and it's really important that you provide them their love language, because if you don't, guess what? There's always somebody out there that will provide them what they need. So if you're not telling your spouse or significant other, hey, good job, I'm proud of you, you're doing good, keep going. As soon as they hear it from someone else, they're going to be like, oh, wow, this person really appreciates me, because that is their love language. So they're it's really going to hit home for them. So you want to make sure you provide them their love language. Yeah.
Oh, another love language that we can talk about is acts of service. Yeah, acts of service, right?
Acts of service, yes.
Yeah, and that's requiring doing things that when you don't feel like doing it, you do it out of the kindness of love. Doing the things that they might like, spontaneously, that you really might not want to do, but you do it because it makes them happy, and you might be rewarded in the end if you do if you do those acts of service.
Okay.
But not saying all the time or just always look for that, but still.
Okay, so give me an example of an act of service that you think I like that you necessarily don't like.
Going hiking. Well, no, I can't say that because sometimes I do enjoy that. I don't know. You have to come back to me on that. I don't know, babe.
Okay.
I don't know. You?
Sports. You'll say, hey, can you come watch this UFC fight with me? I don't like to see violent fighting. I don't. It's just something about it. It's just not appealing to me. But because he invites me, and that it's not necessarily, well, I guess it is an act of service because you're providing a service, even though it's not really physically doing anything. It's just, spending time doing something that you like to do. But physically, it could be like washing clothes or doing the dishes or cleaning up the backyard with all the stuff that you have back there. It's just like, can you do that for me? He said, okay, I'll go and take care of it.
I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem doing that, well, sometimes. Sometimes, I think, I'll say, scratching your back sometimes.
Really?
Yes, that makes you feel good. Scratching your back makes you feel good, but sometimes I just don't enjoy it sometimes. But I know it makes you feel good. I know it. That's like the thing that make you go to sleep at night. Like, scratch my back.
Yes.
So I go to sleep.
Scratching your back, scratching your head. I mean, that is almost close to like a massage for me. I don't know if it works for anybody else, but I love to get my back scratched. I love to get my head scratched. It's just something about it relaxes me, and it's just great.
All right, so also, we're gonna send y'all an app that we use. What's the app?
It is called
Ultimate Intimacy.
Intimacy app. It's a Christian-based app where it talks about family, finances, romance, intimacy, and we saw it from the very great podcast, The Love Hour, with Kev on Stage and Miss Kev on Stage, and they had someone on there that used the app. The actual people that created the app, and so we downloaded it and we use it all the time to just start conversations, to get us, thinking, or if we're on date night or something like that, and we want to have a little bit more intimacy. We'll pull up questions about intimacy, and it's a great tool in a relationship.
It's also for single people too. It helps you out, as far as whether if in your spiritual background as Christians or whatever your beliefs are, spiritually somehow y'all can work together. Like she said, it's finances, intimacy, family questions. So it's different things that y'all could communicate, and like she said, conversation starters, but it's also questions that you can ask each other or ask people when you're dating, for all the single people, for when you're dating and you want to ask these people like certain questions that just may not pop in your head at that moment, but you got the app there to kind of help you, refresh those questions that you might want to ask that significant other, male or female.
Right. And then with the paid subscription, because this is a free app, but if you want to get a little bit deeper inside, you can do a paid subscription. And they also provide games, sexual positions.
We're gonna get into that another episode.
Sexual position products, and then they also have like a miscellaneous category where they kind of ask you about all kinds of things. Okay. So, we have been married for 7 years. It'll be 8 years this year. And so we're bringing this to you to kind of discuss the highlights and the valleys of being married, and to help other couples who are newly married. I've often heard that the first 7 years are the most difficult years. We have a Christian background, so we both believe in not shacking up. So we didn't live together before we got married. We did hang out a lot with each other. We didn't live
together?
No, we didn't.
Trina, we're not going to lie to these people.
We didn't live together.
Ma'am, I moved in. Before I asked you to marry me, I already moved in. All my clothes was here. Toothbrush and all. Shoes, yes. I moved in by Christmas.
Well, I was brought up where you're not supposed to shack up together. Somehow he swindled his way in.
Swindle? What?
But those are the foundations that we grew up on. Not living together until you're married. But the whole purpose for that is basically to get to know each other. So first 7 years, I've heard was the most difficult. You're getting to know each other, what you like, what you don't like. While you're dating, of course, you're going to see a lot of things that you do like and not so much of what you don't like. But once you're married, you sign those papers and you say your I do's. That's pretty much it. It's not so easy to kind of separate, and you make vows to each other and to God and in front of your family and friends that you're going to try to stick it out. And that's exactly what we've been trying to do. We've been riding for almost 8 years with each other, and we've had highs, we have lows, but we're still here.
And that goes to the name of the podcast. How do we
get here?
And still here,
and we're still
going.
Here.
Still going.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move along. We're gonna hop into a quick question real quick. So babe, what are some habits that can get in the way of getting close to a spouse or getting close to someone that you're trying to talk to from a female perspective?
I would say as far as things that get in the way is not being truthful, lies, deceit. Those things get in the way of getting close. I believe the foundation of a relationship is built on friendship and trust and honesty. And when you don't have those things as your foundation, it's very easy for your relationship to crumble. I think those are the most essential things to have as a foundation, as well as God, to kind of guide you along and to be spiritually connected to each other. What do you think?
From a man's perspective, some habits of it's like being nagging or being rude or nasty, not trying to hear me out, or yeah, it's just typically just being rude and nasty, and just, words can cut deep, especially when that person you're real close to, or that person you're in a relationship with, and they know what the right things to say that are, whew, that make you breathe a different way. So, but yeah, those are my habits, or those are some habits, not my habits, but those are some habits, that can prevent, relationships or things from moving even closer.
Yeah, I think it's important that you don't cut each other. In a relationship, you know what affects the other person, or you should know what affects the other person. And you don't want to hurt them to that level. I know a lot of times when you have arguments or disagreements and you're trying to get your point across, each person's trying to get their point across, you can kind of cut deep on the things that you say. You want to make sure that you think about the things that you say before you say them, because once you say it, you can't take it back.
Let me be real, fellas. Yeah, the ladies cut deep. Y'all do. Y'all go for the gusto. We go for a jab. Y'all go for a knockout. Like, y'all don't hold nothing back. This. Be careful what you say sometimes. Like, men can act like they ain't hurt, but they really are. Men be hurt. Niggas got feelings too. Niggas are emotional. So, yeah, women, those words cut, especially when a man love you, like, and you say something that just catch him off guard. That's something you've been feeling for a long time, and you've been waiting to say. So, be mindful of what you say. Sometimes it's not even what you say, it's how you say
it. Yeah.
And how you say it can really affect that person mentally, emotionally, or even physically. You know what I mean? Make them eat, make them sleep wrong, make them up all night, anxiety, make them think many different things. So, yeah.
Right.
So, how often should people go on dates? And you can speak from our perspective.
Well, it depends. If you're in the beginning stages of dating, I think dating should be frequent, at least once or twice a week if you're dating. If you're married, I think it should be at least twice a month. Depending on what your family dynamic is, you may have, children or infants, and it may not allow you to have
all the free time.
Date nights as frequent, but you should always try to set aside some time to date your spouse or significant other. Even if you've been married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you still need to have that time alone with your, significant other to just reconnect after, you've had maybe a hard week or strenuous time at work. You need the time to reconnect with your significant other. So I think for married couples, at least twice a month, at least the minimum.
Okay. Well, I think, but at least 2 to 3 times. And if you single, I'm gonna say this. It depends on if you're talking to that person, or if you're dating certain people, or how many people are you dating. It depends, But if you single and you just want to date, go out with some people, do that. I mean, do it as frequent as you can, or how frequent as you want, unless you just want to get a food just from a nigga or from a lady.
So let me ask you this.
I feel like that's rude.
You said depends on how many people you're dating. What is your definition of dating?
All right, so there's talking as like I get your number, or I'm communicating you through social media, which most people do now. It's through social media, and we talk for a good minute, and then I get your number, and we're in the talking phase, you know, we haven't went on a date. I'm just trying to feel you out, you know, just to see if I want to go on a date with you. Then dating is like, hey, let's go somewhere, do something. Not necessarily has to always be food, but food has to be involved, especially if you taking a young lady out and you showing her out, you taking her different places. You gotta put some food in her stomach to keep her going. So,
So do you think it's okay to date multiple people at one time?
sure.
Why?
Because you're still single. You still trying to feel your way out. Like you can't just fully hop into a relationship. Like you go on one date with somebody, that ain't it. Like you can't just be like, oh, that's it on the first date. Like, or you want it. Like you already got it figured out. Like he or she is the one. Like nah, it's not gonna happen like that. So yes, you should date multiple people, just so you can feel out and see who's best for you out there.
Okay, so it's okay to date multiple people at one time because you're not giving a commitment to any one person, but you're rather getting to know each person to see if there could possibly be something there
It's basically
after you're dating.
it's basically taking talking to another level.
Okay.
And sometimes talking leads to sex because that he or she talk game is so good that it just happens like that. You know, and then others, they just need that vibe. They need to understand where you stand at in life, and that's where the app comes involved, and you ask those questions to get a vibe of them and understand them and where they're coming from and what their goals are in life. You know, simple questions. You don't have to it have to be like a SAT test. Got to just have a whole bunch of questions, but everything has to come with a vibe and laughing and joking in between, and then you can slide those questions in there. You know, don't just be direct with a whole bunch of questions, so then you sound like the feds. So, but yes, dating multiple people, I feel like, you know, people should do that. Now, once you're in a relationship, all that dating other people got to stop because you've committed to that person. So, you know, be in that relationship. Now, if you don't want a relationship, you got to be straight up forward with that and not play games with it. But
Okay, so everything should be verbal. You have to state your intentions while you're talking. You
But
have to
that's
state your
hard.
intentions
That's
while you're
hard
dating.
for a lot of people, even for females too. It's hard to state their intentions. Some girls just want you just for food, just to hang out, just to have liquor, or just to smoke weed with you, whatever. You know, just to spend. Sometimes it's just to spend time with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, and then so like, yeah.
Okay, so the dating sense that we're talking about in a committed relationship is actually going out, spending quality time together with one other person. We're not referring to dating multiple people at the same time while in a committed relationship.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
Right.
Before we head out of here, again, the purpose of this podcast is coming from 7 years of marriage, going on 8, ups and downs. We've been through a lot, and we're gonna get into more of different things within this podcast as far as financial, sex, family,
Blended families.
and all. You know, we're gonna get into many topics and many things, and you know, we might have some people come along every now and then, you know, but for the first couple, it's just gonna be us because you're gonna come from us, hearing from us and our experiences.